the shoot apical meristem will change to floral apical meristem. Will change to floral apical meristem. This floral apical meristem will form a floral apical meristem which gives rise to the new flower. Seeing that we have root apical meristem which develops into the root, and we have shoot apical meristem which develops into the stem, leaf and other parts. This shoot apical meristem will modify to floral apical meristem. This floral apical meristem will give rise to a flower. Here, the internodes do not elongate, so the floral axis gets condensed. We have seen that the 2 points where the leaves arises are called as our nodes, and the space between is called the internode. When a flower is forming, this internode doesn't elongate and it forms into a floral axis. The internode doesn't elongate to form a new leaf. So rather than elongating and forming a new leaf, this internode will form a floral axis. Internode will form floral axis. Okay. Instead of leaves, the apex produces floral appendages. This apex point, instead of leaves, now the apex produces floral parts. So the shoot apical system, which was forming leaves and other parts, is changed into the floral apical meristem. This floral apical meristem will give rise to the floral parts. What floral parts will it form? It forms sepals, petals, stamens and carpels. We'll discuss about each of them in the coming class, okay? When shoot tip becomes a flower, it is always solitary. See, in this germination, when this shoot tip will develop into a flower, we see only single flower. So a solitary flower is a single flower, a solitary flower is formed. It doesn't give rise to many number of flowers. When the shoot tip is becoming a flower, it gives rise to a single flower, solitary flower. So let us see what all we have seen in this germination. We have seen that the shoot apical meristem will change to floral apical meristem. Will change to floral apical meristem. This floral apical meristem will form a new flower. What happens to the internodes that were forming leaves? The internodes now do not elongate. The internodes, they don't elongate. They gets condensed to floral axis. So they gets condensed to floral axis. Instead of leaves, the apex will give rise to floral appendages. Okay. Instead of leaves, the apex forms floral appendages. So we have seen how the flower germinates. The flower germinates from the floral apical meristem. The internodes, the forming leaves, now forms the flowers. The internode condenses and forms the floral axis. The apex produces floral parts instead of leaves. Okay, apex produces the floral appendages. Now next to this, let us see the inflorescence. Coming to the inflorescence, what is inflorescence? Inflorescence. The meaning of inflorescence is the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis. We have a floral axis on which flowers were formed. The arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is called our inflorescence. But based on the growth of main axis and inflorescence type, there are 2 different types of inflorescence. The types are based on growth of main axis. Based on growth of main axis, we have 2 types of inflorescence, that is the racemose inflorescence and the cymose inflorescence. We have the racemose inflorescence and the cymose inflorescence. What is the racemose inflorescence? In the racemose inflorescence, the main axis continues to grow. Main axis continues to grow. Okay. Like we have an axis which continues to grow and the flowers are formed laterally. This way. The new flowers are formed laterally and this stems keeps on growing. This floral axis will keep on growing. The main stem grows. The flowers are born laterally. Flowers are born laterally. Here we see acropetal succession. We see acropetal succession. That is, the older flowers are at the base and the younger flowers are at the top apex. So in this, the older flower is situated at the bottom. As the new growing floral apex grows, the new flowers are formed here. The above one is a young flower and the below one is the old flower. Okay, the floral apex keeps on growing. The examples of plants that shows racemose inflorescence are mustard and sunflower. Mustard plant and sunflower plant, they show racemose inflorescence. Coming to the cymose inflorescence, the main axis ends to a flower. In cymose inflorescence, the main axis ends to a flower. Here the growth is continuous. So this type of growth where the main axis continuously grow is known as indeterminate growth. Indeterminate growth. Coming to the cymose, the main axis ends to a flower. This kind of growth is called as limited growth. This is the limited growth. Here we see the acropetal succession. In the cymose, we see basipetal succession. Basipetal succession. What do you mean by basipetal succession? That is, the older flowers are seen at the apex. Older flowers are seen at the apex and younger ones are grown laterally. Younger flowers are grown at the base. See, like we have a floral apex which end will form into a new flower. So now laterally the new flowers form here. The new flowers are formed below and the first one is our old flower. This kind of succession is known as basipetal succession. Basipetal succession is seen in the cymose inflorescence and the acropetal succession is seen in our racemose inflorescence. You'll see this in the picture. See, in the racemose inflorescence, the first one, like at the apex, behind we find the younger flowers. At the base, we find the old flowers. In the cymose inflorescence, at the apex, we see the old flower and the younger flowers are formed here. The examples of flowers showing this cymose inflorescence are jasmine and cotton. So now we have seen both the inflorescence. Let us quickly write the differences between both of them. So we have two types of inflorescence, that is the racemose and the cymose. What do you mean by racemose? Sorry, what do you mean by inflorescence? We mean that inflorescence is the arrangement of flowers on the floral axis. These are divided into two types based on the growth of main axis. Based on the growth of main axis, we have two types, racemose and the cymose. So in the racemose, the main axis growth is not limited. Main axis growth is not limited. In the cymose, the main axis growth is limited. Main axis growth is limited. So we see indeterminate growth here. Indeterminate growth is same. And here we see the limited growth. Next, coming to the flowers are arranged in the acropetal succession. The flowers are arranged in the acropetal succession. That means the older flower is at the base and the young flower is at the apex. Coming to the cymose, we see basipetal succession. So
in crowded classes, students keep writing notes, while doubts stay uncleared. Hours of self-study, yet biology still feels confusing. Because sometimes you don't need more lectures, you need personal guidance. At Crack Mentors, students get live, personalized online one-on-one biology classes with dedicated faculty support, personal doubt solving, and focused improvement strategy.